is MD for Foodbuy Europe. So basically, when any of the organisations in Compass need something procured, Oli is their man.
So tell me, in that whole thing about high-performance culture, we talked about cultural transformation. Where does the high-performance culture fit into your world?
I think there's a couple of things. I think first and foremost, we are, as a buying organisation, in terms of food market is so dynamic at the moment that it evolves and it changes. People's food taste changes, where you can get it from changes. So it's a very dynamic market. And we have my job simply is to buy it and buy it as cost effectively as I can. I kind of get savings targets. And it's that culture of how can you improve the deal that you did last time? How can you find a supplier that can do something better? How can you enable your suppliers to do something better? And every year trying to not reinvent the wheel, but how can you improve on what you've got? I think that's been part of the culture, and it's a very service-orientated culture. We serve a huge amount of people in a very, very competitive marketplace. So there's that kind of service performance that's in there that says you've got to excel at what you're doing, because if you don't, you lose.
And where did you first come across the parallels with that world, with Olympic sport?
Yeah.
What was the sort of draw? Rowing 2,000 metres down the rowing boat at Olympic Lake is not the same as doing what you do.
Well, it was really interesting that there was a catalyst that we had. So I'd come into our business in 2011, and we'd had 2 or 3 fairly successful years. We'd hit our targets. We were about 3/4 of the way through 2014, our financial year, and my target was, say, £15 million that year. And my boss came and said, we've got a bit of a hole somewhere else. Could you go find another 4? And 15 million was more than we had saved in any of the years that I'd been there before. So we kind of ratcheted up the performance. And after the initial kind of view, which was, how am I going to do that? I was kind of looking for, how do I get the team to just ratchet it up a different level? How am I going to do that? And how do I stop them being, I guess, disparaged by, that's just bloody impossible? There were a few parallels. One was just that whole crazy goal thing. Because at the time we set out, the time we were given the target, I had not got a clue how we were going to do it. And we had a fairly finite space of time. But when I read the book and when I went through the story, there were the parallels around performance, not results. And procurement, professional procurement, is quite a technical process. You go out, you understand your business needs, you do your supplier analysis, you understand your costs. There's a series of process, you invite your suppliers in. And I know from my experience that if you do the process really, really well, you get results. Yeah. So I was kind of drawn to that element of the technical bits of Ben's story around how he did those things and concentrated on doing that really, really well, and the result will come. We were very clear about the goal itself. Yeah. And then getting our team to question how did they fit into that. And I guess one of the first difficulties that I had when we were trying to do this was the difference between sport and business is it's not a goal. You can't go across the line first, or I win the gold medal and that's it, done. Yeah. Because it wasn't just about get the number, because you've got people to serve and you've got all these kind of things. So we actually came up with these kind of four will it make the boat go faster questions. But we were just relentless around what you're doing one of those. And if it is, brilliant. And if it isn't, we don't want to do it. I think the other thing was the teamwork bit, because we talked about now there are 200 people in the organisation. It was about 100 when we first started. And probably 20 or 30 of those would be the deal makers, if you like. Yeah. They would be the guys that do some of the bigger deals. But actually, for us to hit our target, I needed all 100 working. Yeah. And some of them would be in support services elements, or there would be kind of back office stuff. And I liked the fact that Ben and the whole process was talking about everybody else that was around you. And it wasn't just about the star performers. We were never, ever going to get there unless everybody was on their game. And I think it felt like to the team, they all had a part to play, and it kind of resonated with them, and it became part of our language through the coming years. And I think I think the other ways that it's really made a difference is it's given us a language to hang some of our conversations around. So we will still talk, we talk about bounce back ability. I don't blow my trumpet often. I think I'm a bloody ace at bounce back ability because the number of things I've got wrong over the time and the number of things, and you just kind of go, oh, that's what it is. But you kind of celebrate that. But I think that, the questioning of how it is that we do things and building that culture of people feeling free to challenge the norm and that, I think, has made a real lasting impact. I think we had to start with ourselves. So even as a leadership team, we were kind of looking at the rest of the team and going, what do you guys do? And you kind of came along and went, yeah, but what are you doing? There's a framework, but you've got to put it into your own language.
Yeah.
Because actually, if it is just somebody else's language and it doesn't resonate, and as I said, when we made that first, somebody said, okay, so what does will it make the boat go faster for us mean? And we translated that into, that's what it means to us. Here are the 4 things that you do. And if you do those 4 things, and that's what you're focusing on, we will be fine. And I think you've got to be prepared to do that and put it in your own language and think longer than just, I'm going to motivate my people for 6 months or whatever and then walk away.